Hey guys, welcome back to an all-new episode of a pro wrestling podcast with Matt and friends. I'm your host once again, Matt Kozakowski, and this is my first show of 2024, and I'm super honored to have the Thiccc Daddy himself, Mr. Uptown, Andy Brown. Andy, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, man? Thanks for that intro. I'm cool, man. I'm chilling, just hanging out. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's such an honor to have you on here. Like I said before we started, I've been a fan of yours for a very long time. There's no way to start off 2024 if it's not with Andy Brown. So you have to
Ah,
start it off in a big way. This is going to be special to me. Happy belated birthday. You
oh,
just
thank
had a
you, man.
birthday. That was absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. Did you do anything fun for your birthday?
No, man, I was kicking it. Didn't really do much. I ate a lot. I've been eating a lot ever since I've been injured, but I just ate. And I think today, after this, we're gonna go eat too. So I'm excited.
Hey, you got to keep the Thick Daddy moniker up while you're out, it works.
Exactly.
I definitely enjoy, eating too. So I definitely get it. What are we doing after the show? Where are we going?
I think we're going to Outback Steakhouse for
Mm,
sure. That's
that
gonna be like
sounds,
my last meal, and then I gotta try to get my fitness right, try to get my body right, because man.
I
Nah,
get it.
it's whatever. I was enjoying myself. Holidays, birthday, everything just wrapped up into one.
Hey, yeah, you got a little bit of a Christmas break, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
it. I
So
get
now I
it.
got to get back into my like not fitness, but you know what I mean. Try to lose some pounds.
Yeah, no, you gotta keep the thick, not overweight. We don't want
Yeah,
an overweight daddy. We want the thick daddy.
agree. Totally agree. We can't be adding too many more C's on that though.
I don't think the back of your tights can handle anymore.
Oh hell no. The back of my
That's
tights could
awesome.
barely handle my ass, so we gotta whip it back.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, I'd love to get basically started here with some inspiration, questions, I should say. So who were some of those wrestlers that really inspired you to be a pro wrestler?
Um, that one's always such a difficult question for me because I hear people always talk about like, oh, when I saw Hulk Hogan and when I saw such and such and all that stuff. I never really thought about even potentially doing or chasing wrestling until I saw The Rock, which is crazy because it wasn't even like Rocky Maivia Rock. It was Nation of Domination
Yeah,
Rock. Because it sounds weird to say it like this, but like I never saw people of like my color do it.
yeah,
So not that I didn't think it was possible, I just never saw it. So
right.
then when I saw The Rock, and then I was like, dude, he looks kind of like me, like, and he's dope and he's badass. Like,
Yep.
I want to try to do this. And then I started watching it differently. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan at this at heart, but like started watching it differently. Then I started watching like guys like Macho Man, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, shit like that. And I was just like, damn, like, could I do it? Could I? I don't know. And then when I started watching like Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, guys like that, like not so big in stature,
Yep.
once I saw them, I was like, okay, I want to try to do this. Can I do this? I don't know, but I do want to try to do it.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because people do automatically go to like Hulk Hogan or Macho, those bigger, huger names. And people will say The Rock because of the kind of character work. They don't say exactly what you just said, which is actually more of an inspiring, way of really viewing pro wrestling as an inspiration,
Mm.
or pro wrestler as an inspiration is because they give you that similar feel to yourself. Back when I started watching it, like my biggest inspiration was Austin Creed, Xavier Woods, and
Nice.
then AJ Styles and Paul London. Like those were my three guys that I wanted to be inspired for. Unfortunately, I got a concussion while training, so I couldn't do it any longer. But I had my name picked out, gimmick picked out, and I was so
What
stoked,
was the
man.
gimmick? What was the gimmick?
So my name was going to be the Rocket Paul Matthews,
All
right?
right, all right.
I digged it. I loved it. And then I was going to run to the ring like Paul London did, badass. I couldn't do the backflip. That was going to be I couldn't do it. But I was going to do like a Georgia-esque gimmick, like, with my voice. Like, so I was going to sound like AJ Styles. Like I tried to do like his accent.
All right.
And then I was going to steal Austin Creed's Hammerlock DDT from back when he was in TNA.
Okay.
I love that finish. It was great. No offense to Andrade, but Xavier's was so much better.
Fair, fair, fair. Yeah.
But I just had it picked out, and then unfortunately, during a bump, I didn't tuck my chin in and I smacked the shit out of my head really hard
Wow.
and ended up with a severe concussion. And that was like my third concussion in a week. So I was like, yep, I can't do it. So, but I'm here and I get to do
Yeah,
this,
yeah. Thank God you're here. No,
you
for
know.
real.
And
Damn,
I'm
that's
so
crazy.
so honored to be in the wrestling community because I get to do stuff like this and get to talk to you guys and hear your guys' stories and be a fan. It's so much fun when you're a fan on the opposite side of the spectrum and knowing what it's like, what you guys actually do in the ring and not saying, oh, well, it's fake or, shit like that. Because I hate when
Yeah.
people do that shit because it's not. It's not at all.
It's people that don't understand what we do, the craft that we do, the art that we do, all this stuff that we do. It's always those people that don't understand it, and it's you're never gonna convince them otherwise. You know
Yep.
what I mean? But
No, 100%.
who cares? It don't matter. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, we're there for the people that are there for us and for loving what we do, and not even just us. Like for whoever the next talent or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, Being on the sideline, it's kind of funny. I'm such a big fan of wrestling to this day. Like it never went away, but like I'm such a bigger fan now with like the independents coming in. So like all the like shows that people probably haven't heard about or whatever, like the young talent coming up. It's so fucking cool seeing like these younger guys growing up to being something, whether in this business or even like, man, I remember when you couldn't even take a bump. I
Yep.
remember when you couldn't roll correctly. Now you're like, selling all this merch and like heavyweight champion at your company. It's just like it's to me it's so fucking cool being on the side and just watching them
Yep.
do their match, watching the crowd interact. It's great, man.
Oh, and there's so much wrestling. It's crazy because there's so many promotions that I've never heard of. And
Yeah.
Blitzkrieg is definitely one of them, and we'll get into that later.
Mm.
I found out about it because of you, actually.
Mm.
But there's so many promotions out there, so many wrestlers, and it's so crazy because you can't keep up with all of them. And you
Yeah.
feel so bad because as a wrestling fan, somebody's like, "Oh, have you heard of so and so?" And you're like, "No, who the hell's that?" And these
Yeah.
guys are just out there trying to make a name for themselves, just like you guys. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's just so much out there, and I give everybody so much credit, especially during the pandemic era. That was so rough for anybody to try to make a name for themselves.
Dude, I know California shut down everything for like a year.
Yeah.
So a lot of them out there didn't really do much. There are some people that were flying out and doing their stuff, but for the majority, that whole scene shut down for a little bit.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, when I went to Florida for a little bit, they were talking about like they were still doing stuff, but which is great. But now that everything is back and running, obviously, and everything's all good, it is cool to see the people that were in the pandemic era of wrestling find themselves in front of a crowd,
Yeah.
and luckily being able to wrestle in front of a crowd. Because imagine having to like do all this shit in front of like nobody. Like it'd
Yep.
be so hard, man, because it's that rush. It's the I hate to say it like that. It's that drug of like the crowd cheering or booing or just the instant gratification. And that pandemic era got taken away because there was no one there to say anything or do anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's cool to think though, because during the pandemic, and I'm not a huge AEW mark, like I can't get into AEW like I wish I could.
Okay.
But I will say AEW did something special during the pandemic, and that was having the wrestlers in the crowd and
Mhm.
actually interacting like they were fans. Because then you've seen other organizations like WWE with NXT have their wrestlers in the crowd, and it was just something special. And I think, the pandemic era really showcased the talent instead of seeing what the fans were, how the fans were interacting to build
Yeah,
those
yeah,
talents
yeah,
up
yeah.
to see what the actual talent was. Because I think during that time, the Street Profits really showcased what they were, doing. You had Austin Gunn doing his thing and people were understanding what Austin Gunn was like. There was so much going on. And I think with the indies opening back up, I think that took a lot where people were like, man, wrestling is the coolest thing ever. And I
Yeah.
think now, post pandemic, I think we're on like the hottest streak of professional wrestling now than there ever has been. So I'm very excited to see what the future comes.
So am I, honestly, 100%. So am I.
Yep, no, definitely. So now we kind of talked about, some of your inspirations, when you kind of figured like, hey, this is what I wanted to do. Where did you originally train at for pro wrestling?
So it was a school in San Bernardino called Jesse Hernandez School of Hard Knocks. It was like in the heart of IE. I could be wrong about that, but that's where I trained first. It was kind of funny because I didn't even find it originally. It was like because I used to do backyard wrestling, obviously, like
Me
everyone else.
too.
Yeah,
Me
I,
too.
I did that, and I was with like maybe four of us. It was like maybe four of us. I want to say, yeah, like four or three of us, and we were talking about, hey, let's really do this. And I didn't know you could. I didn't know there was a school for it.
Yeah,
So naive about it. You know what I mean? I just thought
you
it
have
was
to
just,
learn it all on your own.
yeah, that, or you have to like know somebody
Yeah,
that does it. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of my friends found the school. We were talking about doing it. It almost fell through. Like none of, I don't know, like all of us couldn't get the money together and all this crazy stuff. And I essentially was like, man, fuck it. I'm just gonna go find another school. And then I found Santino Bros. And I almost went there. I almost went there. Like it was closer. But then at the end of the day, when I finally was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. My
Yep.
friends were all like, no, 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 no. Tuesday we're gonna go to training. We're gonna check it out. And then Wednesday we're gonna start training. So I was like, all right, cool. Then I went out there and that shit was cool, man. It was surreal. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
seeing
yeah.
the ring for the first time. Because I never used to go to like the live shows. I honestly didn't even know there was independent wrestling around me. And
Yep.
then going to the training school, I got to meet Jesse, got to talk to him and hear all that stuff. We got to sit in on a training session and we just saw the bumps and man, that shit sounded loud as hell in that gym. And I remember being so nervous, like I don't know if they're messing with me, but like they'll hit the ropes and then they'll get out and be like, "Oh my back," and I'm like, "Shit, dude, I don't know if
Yeah.
I could do this."
Now,
And
when your first day of training and stuff, did they have you set up the ring and take it down and everything as well?
no, no, no. Luckily, by that, so the school I was at ran shows, so he had two different rings. He had the show
Okay.
ring and then the training ring. The training ring was always just there, so
Okay.
like I would have to clean it and stuff like that. But like, it's so funny because I didn't know. This is how naive I was in the business in the beginning. Was I didn't know that you can go to the shows and help because no one told me. I
Yeah.
was just so I would know that we'll have shows Fridays and Saturdays, and I would just be at home, just kind of like, man, I wish I could go. And then I remember asking one day, like, hey, can I help? And he goes, what the fuck? Yeah, you're supposed to help, man. You're supposed to sit up there and you're supposed to do all this. So I was like, well, no one told me, bro. I'm sorry, like my fault. And I remember like getting beat up a little bit because of that.
Yeah.
But it was fine. So that's during shows. That's when I would learn to set up the ring, and then we set up the ring, and then before everyone came in, we would like like play around in it and stuff like
Yep.
that, just try shit out. And then when the veterans got in, we just like backed off and sat on the side.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So I have to ask you, so backyard wrestling, what did you have the same name Andy Brown in backyard wrestling or did you have a different name?
I had a different name, but we cool. We ain't gonna talk about it. We cool.
Not a good choice of name, huh?
Nah. It was just funny. I think it was like Swagger or something like that. And it was funny. I dressed like Kevin Owens did, not even like on
That's
purpose.
that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because you mentioned Kevin Owens. You use the package pile driver as well in
Mhm.
your move set. And I'm not gonna lie, no offense to Kevin, yours is better. I was thinking about that too because I was watching some of your matches again last night, and I'm like, Andy Brown's package pile driver beats Penta's and Kevin Steen's. Uh,
And I
I'm
like
gonna
the way
get a lot of
Bridget does
shit for
his.
that, but
I appreciate that. No, fuck these fools. I'm just kidding.
no, but man,
Fuck the
it's just
haters is what I'm
cleaner.
saying.
It's just cleaner. And I'm not saying that because you're on my show, but like I love a good move, and I love when somebody does it better than a bigger star. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're bigger than you. They're on national television week after week. And you deserve to be there, obviously. Maybe one of these days, fingers crossed. Um, I would love to see you. But now we talk about like, when you trained from backyard wrestling into real wrestling, was there any difference that was more like something that was harder for you to do when you were training inside a regular ring than what you were doing in the backyard?
Oh yeah, all of it, everything.
What
You know
was
what
the hardest part?
I mean? For me, it was the cardio aspect of it all. I don't think I've ever had like good cardio. I do have like a heart problem. Like I have a heart murmur, so that could have been a reason for it.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But no, for me, it was the cardio aspect of it. It's so physically demanding wrestling. Like there's so many aspects of it. Like you have to do. Like you have to be in shape for this to pick someone up to
Yep.
like go for 10, 15 minutes and then listen to the crowd and give them what they want. So sometimes it's not just run the straight line. Now you got to
Yep.
hop over this or turn around there or do this and do that. And that shit was hard for me, man, the cardio aspect. But at the time, it's funny because I went through stages in my physical. At the time I was chubby, then I lost weight and then kind of got into like not muscular but decent shape, and then I got chubby during the pandemic, and then I got fat, and then I lost whatever, it doesn't matter. But at the time,
The
at the time
progression.
I was yeah, at the time I was fat, and I remember looking at some other big guy, and he was killing it, just like doing all the drills, just boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
and not seeing him get blown up. And I was just like, how do you do that shit, man? How do you do it? And he gave me the one advice. It's so funny. He gave me the one advice, and I still stick to that to this day, where it's just like us bigger dudes, we have to push a little harder because everyone already thinks that we're just going to be sloppy and
Yep.
can't move like everyone else. So then I took that to heart and I started like working out harder outside of the ring. So like running, doing a lot. I used to do a lot of burpees back in the day, and that resonated in the ring. So now that people look at me and like, oh man, he's not going to be able to do a dive, but now I'm
Yep.
doing over the top dives and
Oh
doing
yeah.
lucha spots and running, 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 and then being like, I can still go. Like let's go, let's keep going. But after a while, shit, man, this shit hurts.
Yeah.
My
I get
knees and
it.
my back and my ankles. Like I don't want to do any of that shit. Now I just hit people like fucking go down, bang.
We're in our 30s, man. That's what it is.
Dude, it's tiring, bro. It's tiring. Trying to keep up with this young generation. It's fun, but fuck, man, I'd be tired.
I get it, man. I get it. Now, when you're training in your training class, was there any other notable names in that class that you were with?
Like that started with me, or that was
Yeah,
like coaching.
that started.
There's a guy named Richie Slade. He still works out
I know
there.
Richie Slade. Yes.
Yeah, he's a SoCal guy. I think he's super underrated, man. He's good. He looks good. He can talk. He can fucking walk in the ring. He's great, man. But for whatever reason, just never got the break that he deserves, I think.
I
Adrian
mean, he did
Quest.
get attacked by Brock Lesnar. We can't
Oh
we
yeah,
can't
yeah, my
forget.
fault. You're right. You're right. I clown on him to this day about that shit. I'm like, dog, if that was me, I would have hit him in the shin. But Adrian Quest is another one. Adrian was there before me, and then he like left to. It's so funny. He said to finish school. I thought he was like college.
Yeah.
No, he went to finish high school. And yeah, Adrian's fantastic, man. He's the one that actually helped me elevate my game into like the next level, I think. It was a
Yeah.
few of them, but he was one of the bigger pieces.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, that's kind of yeah.
So,
Yeah, because a lot of my class they don't. There's a there's a guy named Sergio Santana.
okay.
He's still over there in the scene at wrestling for Jesse and them. But I think it's just us four that kind of still
Do
from
it.
my class that still do it. Yeah.
No, I definitely get it. And I mean, you mentioned Adrian Quest, and we're definitely going to get into that topic in a little bit here.
Mm.
Richie Slade, you guys all kind of landed in championship wrestling from Hollywood.
Yep.
How did you guys get there? Like, were they contacting you? Did you guys contact them? How did you guys get your start and your break in championship wrestling from Hollywood? Because that's where I found you originally.
Yeah. Sorry. Before I get into that, also Fidel Bravo. I totally forgot about that.
I
If he
love
watches
Fidel.
this, he's gonna talk shit about it. Watch. I already know it.
I do
Uh,
love Fidel. Fidel's another underrated guy. I think
100%, a thousand
all these
percent.
guys that you mentioned,
Yeah.
Sergio, I'm not familiar with 100%, but the rest of them. The rest of them, man, all underrated. Fidel had such good character work, I think, and I think that gets very underlooked. Everything he was doing in championship wrestling from Hollywood for a while there too was absolutely incredible. Richie Slade, I think, absolutely kills it.
Yeah,
He's super
100%.
underrated inside the ring, 100%. And then, like I said, you and Adrian really stood out as those two
Mhm.
breakout guys.
Thank
And with championship wrestling from Hollywood, and I know we're going to get there in a second here. I always look at it as like a breaking point where that's where you either make it or break it.
you.
Because I think a lot of stars came from championship wrestling from Hollywood. You have LA Knight, you have Brian Cage, Willie Mack. You have a bunch of guys that came into this business through championship wrestling from Hollywood and got elevated. And
Yeah,
I think that's where a lot of more people are started to come from. And that's where I looked at you and Adrian as like these two guys who were just going to absolutely break out. And you've been killing it on the indies. He's been killing it in New Japan, America, or US or whatever you want to call it. But you guys are both killing it. And I'm very excited to see what you guys have been doing. And I can't wait till you get back, obviously.
yeah.
But what led you guys to championship wrestling from Hollywood?
It was because I brought him up, Fidel. I just happened to ride with him up there. He was because I was trying to break out and like go to different places and show my face, and so I'm just not at my school because that's what I was told is like to get on the radar, so to speak, is you have to wrestle these places and you have to go. So I remember just driving up there with him and meeting Dave Marquez, meeting Johnny Yuma, who was producer at the time, and meeting all these people, but not really knowing that something would or could happen. And they just the number one rule is always bring your gear, always be ready. And I just went to talk and say hello and show face and watch a show. And I remember Johnny Umas just looked at me, said, "Hey, we have a position. It's up to you if you want it. Do you have your gear?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, just go out there." And I think it was a tag match. Um, it was Fidel and Sasha Derevko versus myself and Clutch. Some guy from, not some guy, I don't want to say some guy, a wrestler out in Vegas. And we went out there and we did our thing. And I think it was like a 2 minute squash match. And after that, they were just like, all right, man, like, we like you. We like your stuff. It was the whole like, we'll keep in contact. And I was just like, shit, bro. Like, they're never going to call me again. And I didn't know how the shit worked. I didn't know how like much they ran. So I was waiting. I was like, damn, I don't think I'm gonna get this. A week went by and I was like, damn, I wonder if they hate me. 2 weeks go by, but the way they do it is every other 2 weeks. So they're just like, hey, do you want to do it? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then it just started like that. And I think they were like giving me tests to see if I actually wanted or whatever, which is fair. Like I understand I was young at the time. And yeah, man, and the rest was history. Johnny Yuma, he put me on and he gave me good matches, great matches. And um, Dave Marquez, I learned a lot from him. I know he gets a lot of love from all those people, LA Knight and
Yes.
Ryan Taylor and TJ Perkins. And learning under him was crazy too because I never knew how to wrestle TV style, what they call it or
Yep.
whatever. It was very much like doesn't matter where I'm looking or what I'm doing or how I'm presenting myself. And I remember the one time I thought I was killing it during the TV, and he came to me. His approach, Dave Marquez's approach, is I like it. I can see why it rubs people the wrong way. He doesn't really like baby you. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
they're not spending; they're investing money on you. So I kept giving my back to the camera, and he goes, "No one's paying money to see your ass." I was like, "What?" They're like, "No one's paying money to see the back of you. It's all in the face. You have good facials. You're not an ugly ass dude. Like, show that shit off." And I had no clue what he was talking about. And then slowly he was just well, producing me. So he was like, "Turn here, do that, do this, look over here." Da da da. I never had it where I had to like come up with an entrance. Um, Tell the camera people, hey, when I do this pose, come over here so you can see this. It was fucking crazy to me. It was a different world. But I'm blessed and thankful for every moment of that time, whether it was like tough or hard or whatever. It made me into the wrestler I am today, and then I can also help the younger generation because I've been through it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. No,
So
100%.
yeah.
Now, so if you were to give advice to anybody who was not TV ready to be on camera or anything like that, what kind of advice would you give to those types of people that want to try to be on a show that is televised?
Don't be afraid to get don't be afraid to take criticism. Like if the people that are holding the cameras and paying you to do something for their promotion or whatever, don't get upset if someone goes, "Hey, this sucks," or "da da da." Some people just don't know how to um, give sensitive advice at times, if that makes any sense.
Oh, definitely.
So if someone's holding the camera and they say, "Hey, do this instead of that," don't go, "No, don't tell me what to do. You've never been in the ring, blah blah blah." It's just like, "Okay, try it out. If it doesn't work, then figure something else out." Like, don't just take the advice. Just take the criticism, take the advice, and that's it. Yeah, man. Like, just try it. Just try it. Just try it.
Oh,
If that's
definitely.
yeah.
And you took that advice and you ran with it, and you had such a hot streak in championship wrestling from Hollywood that you ended up being the Heritage Champion for a little bit as well. A
Yeah.
title that was held by guys like Adam Pearce, Sean Waltman, TJP, you mentioned him. I think, the world of TJP because I think he's one of the top five greatest of all time.
He's dope. He's
Very
cool.
underrated, very
Yeah.
underrated. Um, what was it like to hold that title and be the main point of championship wrestling from Hollywood for as long as you were?
Shit was tight. Like I don't know, shit was tight. It sucks because at the time I didn't think of it that way, but I think it was because I was trying so hard to have like the best anytime I was on camera. So whether it be promos, I'm terrible at promos. I was fucking god awful. Ty Matthews, he helped me so much with that stuff. And but anytime I was on camera, I would try to be the best at it or leave a lasting moment, whether it be a promo, a segment, or in the ring wrestling. So it was very hard to like sit down and be like, wow, like I'm part of the of this legendary list of great wrestlers, but at the time, it wasn't just championship wrestling from Hollywood. Like I
Yes.
was there, but I was also like a champion in San Diego. I was also a champion at my home fed. I was also trying to like, wrestle these bigger names. So it wasn't I didn't have time to kind of like sit back and enjoy what I was doing. It was just
Yeah.
like, all right, come on, let's work, let's work, let's work, let's work. So that was I do regret that. If anything in wrestling, I do regret not sitting down and like enjoying these moments. You know what I mean? Like I would like it was like a Sunday, and then I would look at the title and go, "Damn, man, this is cool as fuck." But then work, 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 train, 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 train. Have a show Thursday, have a show Friday, have a show Saturday, and then defend it. And it's just like it's just so much. But not like now that I think back about it, it's like it's fucking cool.
Oh
It's
yeah,
crazy.
definitely.
It's crazy to think that they trusted me like that. And I'm sure some of them had like shoot, I don't know, man. But the numbers don't lie, and the numbers I was putting up at that time and the matches I was doing for them, not for them, but for all of us, it was cool, man. It was very great. It was a great feeling for sure.
Well, what we need you to do, and this is all honesty, we need you to get back into the ring as soon as possible, take that United Wrestling Network title off Danny Limelight, and be
Ah,
champion. Because we need that.
let's see,
Sorry,
man.
Danny, but
Yeah,
Uptown's gonna get it to you, you know?
Danny's a great champion for sure, man. So I'm sure that he can hold on to it a little longer. Then I'll come back for
Yeah,
it.
no, definitely. I mean, he's been killing it. I can't take anything away from him. Danny
Agreed.
Limelight is definitely something special in that side inside that ring. I definitely think his time is coming as well. To get that bigger spotlight. I
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
think he's coming. Um, Now, in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, I want to ask you this because you see a lot of wrestlers have this happen to them where they are on the top of the mountain and then it seems like they're going down a little bit. So when you were in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood after you lost the title during the pandemic era, at that time, you and Adrian Quest were holding the tag team titles.
Hmm.
Now what's it like? Because I know you guys were partnered with Ray Rosas,
Yeah.
another guy who I think is very underrated, doesn't get the recognition he deserves either. Same thing with Peter Avalon. There's so many guys that don't get recognition, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
The West
so
Coast has a lot of great talent, man.
Oh, definitely. So what's it like going from being at the top of the mountain, going down to the tag team division? I mean, was there any kind of part of you that felt like, oh, well, I feel like they're just pushing me down. Like, I was at the top of the mountain, now I'm down here. Like, was there any part of you that kind of felt like, man, this kind of sucks? Or were you excited to be a part of something different and be a part of the tag team division?
No, man, I didn't care, bro. The paycheck was still the same. No, I'm just kidding. That's fucked up, huh? No, being for real. No, I didn't mind it because I was still a part of the roster, the program, and just because, how do you explain this? Just because I wasn't an important factor in like that singles division doesn't mean I wasn't an important factor backstage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's the confusion of, not confusion, but like people don't understand that. I ran with the title for as long as I did. I did it to the best that I could. I'm not going to hold on to that title forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's cool to switch up the flavor of ice cream. So it's like, cool, let's give it to someone else, give them the big name, like let's get them up to become a star. Where am I going to fit in? I honestly love tag team wrestling.
Me too.
I have some great tag partners. Adrian's one of them, and teaming up with him was fantastic. So there wasn't a time where I was like, oh man, I wish that I can go back to doing that, or oh, I wish I could do that. It was, nah, man, I'm teaming with one of my best friends and we're having killer matches. I'm doing the exact same thing with the heavyweight title, but with the tag titles with my friend. It's a
Yeah.
new challenge. It's a new competition of like a different mindset going into it because it's not just me versus one. It's like us two versus other two, and it's a whole different dynamic. It's a whole different thing. I never felt like I was getting pushed down or away or anything. It's about the bigger story. So at that time, me and Adrian were a part of a bigger plan instead of doing this. Does that make
Yep.
it? Am I making sense on that?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because you see on social media all the time when people are like, "Oh well, you just you have Finn Balor as a top single star, and then now he's in a tag team and just being a tag team wrestler, and oh well, this person's just doing this," and it kind of upsets you because it makes it seem like, okay, well they're still on television, they're
Yep.
still getting matches, so why are you getting mad? Because you hear stories about these wrestlers that are like, "Oh well, I'm upset because I'm not in the main event scene," and I'm always curious how people feel about that, really, because you always see those journalists post about it and say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, so and so is mad and is thinking about leaving because they're not getting the push that they deserve." So, I mean, I just was curious about that because you went from being a world champion to tag team champion. You were still champion. You were still killing it. So I was always curious about like what happens like to the mental state when you go from main event caliber to being not in the main picture anymore.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
I
gives a little
mean,
bit more insight.
yeah, it didn't. For me personally, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard, but it's also different too because I feel like, I'm sorry, I don't like to sound cocky. I don't like to put myself over, so to speak. So I apologize. But
Do it.
But it's no, no, no. But it's funny because it's hard for me to agree or disagree with that because I went from being a heavyweight champion, singles heavyweight champion, to essentially being the best tag team on the show. So it's
Yep.
just like I went from being the best singles to being one half of the best tag. So
Yep.
like it's not like I was the heavyweight champion and now I'm like losing on the opening card doing dark matches and shit like
Yep.
that. So it's kind of like maybe that's why I didn't have a bigger problem with it, but it's also like going back to what I said, like I wish I could lie, bro, but I don't. I just can't. So
I get
like
that.
so wrestling, it didn't matter to me. Would I have loved to be the main event, the champion, and everyone coming to see me? Yeah, 1000%. I ain't gonna lie about that. I ain't
Yep.
fronting. But at the same time, the fact that I'm on this fucking card doing what I love is I won. Like we're good. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. So I have to ask you because this is a question I've always been curious about since 2020. Um, Now during the pandemic, when Championship Wrestling from Hollywood came back,
Mhm.
Adrian Quest wasn't there any longer. He wasn't your tag team partner anymore. What happened? Where did he go? Was the pandemic just not letting him leave where he was? Was it something of a contractual issue? Like what exactly happened there?
I don't know if it was anything like backstage or whatever. I just know that he was so focused on getting his clothing brand. I wish I had the hat here too. His clothing brand, Bermuda, up and running because during the pandemic it was uh sadly everyone had time.
Yeah.
So him and his homies were like getting that together and getting it rolling, but never really had the opportunity or the time for all of them to get together.
Yep.
Because I want to say there's like four of them for collabs, and during the pandemic that's when it got serious and they got the ball rolling because they had the time and
Yep.
everything. And then it sucks, but Adrian's so young, still to this day so young, but has so much knowledge about wrestling because he's been in it forever, and
Yes.
what forever of his life. So I think it was something where it was like he was like, I could come back to this, to wrestling. I could come back to wrestling. Let me focus on Bermuda. Let me get that shit going. Let me get everything rolling. And then I'll jump back into wrestling, having this clothing brand and having success not just for wrestling, which I admire. Like a lot of people put their eggs in the basket of wrestling. Like, I got to make this. But he
Yep.
was smart where he was like, well, I want to do this, but I also want to do this, but I also want to do this, so I can come back to this, but I want to finish this to do over here. This motherfucker's crazy, man. He's just all over the place. He's just all
That,
over the place.
hey, he keeps busy. I mean, that's a plus, you know.
Yeah, but I
So
think that was the whole why he wasn't around for a little bit.
what's it like when okay, so in that situation, what's it like building a chemistry up with a new tag team partner already holding the tag team gold? What goes into having to build something completely new while, running with the championships already?
Excitement. You get excited about something new. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, excitement. You get excited doing something new. So whether if that's a tag team with this new person that maybe I've never wrestled with, or maybe it's someone that I have wrestled with, but it's the excitement of, oh, well, we could do this together. What do you do? Oh, cool, I could do this, or we could do that together, and this will be the new thing, or oh, me and Adrian used to do this. Well, we can combine that together.
Yeah.
But it's just that it's the excitement of it, and again, sorry, it's just repetitive. I like wrestling. I love wrestling.
Yeah,
So
no, definitely.
yeah, so like I've been lucky enough to do so many things where once it gets like, oh man, I really like doing that. I want to keep doing that. But then I jump into something new and goes, oh shit, this is cool. Like I get to do this. I don't want this to end. And then it ends because that's just the way it goes. Now I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Oh, I'm in this new thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
No, I definitely get it. And like I said, man, I mean, you guys just absolutely killed it. And in my opinion, what I think of Macho Man and Hogan, I think of The Rock and Stone Cold, I think of Orton and Cena, I think of Andy Brown and Adrian Quest.
That's
There,
cool.
no question about it. Anytime I think of Andy Brown, I think of Adrian. If I think of Adrian, I think of Andy Brown. There's no question. You guys were just something special together. And I would love to see you guys get back together eventually here down the road. I would love to see you guys tangle it up one on one or tag team matches, whatever happens. That'd be fantastic. I'm pretty convinced, with Adrian Quest being the young Fuego, I'm pretty sure he is Fuego del Sol as well.
that
Um,
that's hilarious.
I'm pretty convinced. I mean, there was somebody that just tweeted the other day and they said, I'm the young Fuego, and I'm like, no, 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 that's
Nah, nah,
Adrian
nah, nah,
Quest.
nah.
Nobody else. That's Adrian Quest.
That's hilarious. Well, I've
Yeah,
seen them both, and they're not. He's not Fuego del
damn.
Sol. So
I was on to something, I thought, but now if you can choose, in my opinion, the person that brings out the best in you is Adrian. But you might have a different opinion. If you could choose a wrestler who brings out the absolute best out of you anytime you've been in the ring with them, who would it be and what does it make to build a good chemistry with a good dance partner?
that So, damn, that's a leveled question because of the way I was brought up in wrestling. And what I mean by that is like it changed over time. So like when I was super young, I wrestled this wrestler by the name of the Mega King Tommy Wilson, and he was a an older, I don't want to say older, seasoned veteran, and like he used to just like going out there and just kind of calling it, and it's at the time I was terrified of doing that. I didn't. I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like, what? How are we gonna do this? But I would wrestle him maybe for a year straight of just, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Here's my finisher. This is what we're gonna do. I was like, all right, cool. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from slowing down, listening to the crowd, pay attention. Like, it doesn't have to be rushed. It doesn't have to just go. Like, just take your time and let the crowd interact with you and engage with what you're doing. And then after that, once I started branching out a little bit, now it's so funny because at the time I didn't even know like it could happen, or I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain, but like he ended up becoming like my best friend, my mentor, and someone that till this day like will text him and go, "Hey, does this sound good? How does this look?" Blah blah blah. Is Tyler Bateman.
Yeah.
So when we wrestled one time and he beat the fucking shit out of me, and
He's a dangerous striker, man.
dude, I thought I was fighting back, and I apparently I wasn't because he'd be like harder, and I'm all like, dang. But he's someone that brought out a lot of what I am today. Like,
Yeah.
and I stole a lot of his stuff. Don't tell anyone. But he was someone that no matter if we're on this, we're mostly together a lot on the same cards. But if we weren't wrestling each other, he'll tell me, "Why'd you do this? What made you do
Yeah.
that?" Like, okay, well, why'd your character do that? Or blah blah blah. So he was always questioning me, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Then luckily I got the team with him, and then his mind on how to do tag team wrestling was insane. He was another person that like he loved the business as much as I did, and he also loved making other people look good. So did I.
Oh yeah.
And so anytime that we got to wrestle each other, I learned new things. I got, I don't know how I got tougher, but he beat the fuck out of me on every single match. My debut for PWG in Reseda, I want to say it was Keith Lee's like farewell match or whatever because he was going
Yeah.
to WWE. I got the call or the email like 2 days before the show, and they're like, "Cool, it's gonna be you and Bateman." Da, 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 da. I was all right, cool. And then right before we go out to the curtain, like I think my music's hitting, and then he's just like, "Hey, let's just apologize and say we love each other now. I love you." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, man, we gotta make it look good." I was like, "What?" And that was my debut, and it was cool, man. I got a little "Please come back" chant, stuff like that. Um, so that was cool. And then another person that is Ray Rosas. Ray Rosas,
Yeah.
he helped me out so much. I remember the first time I wrestled him, I was super nervous because it was Ray Rosas. It was funny that whole day. I remember I got pulled over. My car got taken away because of other things, and I was like, "How the fuck am I gonna get to the show?" And then I got to the show, and I was just so like, "Ah, there's so much going on." And there was something about him that was calming and reassuring, and um, I was like, I want to do all this, and he goes, okay, let's he placed things where they needed to be, and he taught me so much, and I still use it to this day. And then even with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, he was someone that taught me um like timing and tempoing and like do this, slow down, look at the crowd, look at the cameras. Remember, you're not wrestling for them, you're wrestling for the people at home. So
Yeah.
when you do the things, do it that. And I still to this day still do it all. So it's B-Boy is another one that like excuse me, he helped me branch out too with like the creation of Ground Zero and learning from him, learning everything that he does and why he does it and teaching me his ways and stuff. Excuse me, I got very lucky with the people I was around, and obviously my trainer Jesse Hernandez. Like I got very lucky with the people I was around because it wasn't like I was just getting taught by one person. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
getting taught like by TJ Perkins, Rocky Romero would come through and like sprinkle some things in there. Ryan Taylor, I was learning a lot from guys like that. Mondo Vega, like it was just this big fucking, what's the word, smorgasbord of fucking,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, of just dope ass wrestlers. Scorpio Sky was another one.
Yep.
Like you hear it all the time where like don't be afraid to ask questions because they want to give advice. And I to this day, some of the young guys out here in the Northeast, they'll ask me, they'll be like, "What do you think?" or "How do you think about this?" And I'll give them my input. But it's just like funny to think like, "Damn, I was that. When
Yeah.
the fuck did I become the OG?" Like I remember being a BG, and now I'm an OG, and it's like, fuck it, whatever, that's cool. But I loved every second of learning all that stuff. Sometimes it was hard. Sometimes it was, that looks stupid, or don't do that again, or why would you do that? And I'm just like, damn, my bad. Like
No, I get that.
I remember trying to do a Hadouken for no reason. Like I wasn't like a fucking like, you know what I mean? I wasn't like a cartoon character or anything. I just wanted to do it because I thought it was fucking hilarious. And they told me, "Oh, that's stupid as shit." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fair."
John Cena did it, so I mean, hey, it works.
Yeah, but when did he do it? You know what I mean?
After that
He didn't do
Chinese
it as a
movie.
prototype. Yeah,
Right,
he's
right.
already over. You don't need. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't give a fuck.
He added the sixth move of doom or whatever.
Yeah, dude, that's what I mean. Like, I can't do that shit, but
Hey,
yeah,
I mean, you got to get one Hadouken in, you know? It's the
I'm not
only
good
way
at
you
that.
could live.
I'm.
I love it. I love it. So speaking of a good dance partner, what do you think makes a wrestler have a successful career?
Oh, I mean that that depends on them. You know what I mean? That all depends on them, depending on what they want, or what they strive to be. I know for me, I learned just recently, actually, maybe like 2 years ago. I learned that I'm very terrified of flying, like deathly afraid of flying. So I knew getting signed wouldn't be in the cards for me, just because maybe other things for sure, but I want to tell myself it's because I can't fly. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But then again, that's supposedly what they say is that's what caused a lot of my lack of branching out, because a lot of places did want me, you know what I mean? But I was too terrified to fly to St. Louis or Alabama, or wherever at the time, New York and all this stuff. So it was just like, I'm cool. Like if I can't drive there, I don't want to like fly,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So my mindset changed, and not necessarily like, oh, I have to get signed. That's the goal. That's my goal. I have to get signed. Then it just became, I just want to be known as like the best wrestler in my area, but I
Yep.
also want to be the best wrestler in the world. But then it's like I can show you someone that I think is the best wrestler in the world, but you be like,
Yeah.
okay. Like everyone talks about it. I think Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler, but then a lot of people are like, no, it's Hulk Hogan. But
Yeah.
it's like that dude fucking, he sucked. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
so it all depends. But I don't know. So it's up to them, I think. Like for me, I know for me, I like to think I'm successful in wrestling,
Oh,
because
yeah, definitely.
not necessarily just because of the places I've been, or who I wrestled, or what I've done, but I think like the friendships I made, and the little bit of help that I can give to anyone that's asking for it. I'm not an asshole. I'm not like, like a piece of shit or whatever. And sure, I talk a lot of shit and joke, but like that's just the vibe. It's never any like, you fucking suck and you should quit. It's just like, hey, how about let's change it up, or let's do this, or do you even want my help? If not, it's
Yeah.
all good. Like we're all chilling. Um, I like to think that hopefully that's the truth, but I think I'm successful in wrestling because of that. You know what I mean? I like to think that I'm like the underground known fucking king, not king, but like you can talk to people and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Andy, he's cool, man. He's a cool
Yeah.
dude."
No, and I think a lot of people that really pay attention to the indie scene, not like the big indies, like GCW, the one that gets talked about one of the most,
Mm.
or you got Ring of Honor, stuff like that. Because Ring of Honor, I still look at as an indie show type thing,
That's right.
in a sense. But if you don't really know indie wrestling and you're not a real wrestling fan, you're not going to know who Andy Brown is because Andy Brown is killing it on the indies. Blitzkrieg, you've been in Beyond, you've been doing so much stuff on the indies, you've been in PWG, you've been doing your shit. And I think when people are actually paying attention to those indies, they know who Andy Brown is because
Yeah,
there's so much with Andy Brown that you have charisma, you have somebody that can get the crowd interacting, can do all the work inside that ring. And you are a good talker. I mean, you might think your promos are bad, but you're killing it here. I mean, this is probably one of the best conversations I've had since doing my show 3 years ago.
it's easy when I'm just shooting the shit. It's when that red camera's on me and they're all like, "All right, cut a promo," and I'm just like, "All right, shit, this, that, fuck," and they're like, "Oh, can't do that." It's like, well, fuck, man, how am I supposed to do this? I don't know. I think, well, speaking of Blitzkrieg, I think that's how I got over there. I think me just being me, luckily the crowd loved it and they're just like, damn, he said that? He can say that? All
Oh
right,
no,
cool. We
definitely.
fuck with him. So yeah,
Definitely.
that's fun, man. I love
No,
I, I love it out
everything
here.
you do, man, is very entertaining. So I
Yeah.
have to ask you this question because for the longest time in your career, you were just known as Uptown Andy Brown.
Right, right,
Where
right.
did the Thick Daddy moniker come from? Who said, "Hey, you should be called Thick Daddy," and you were like, "All right," Where did that come from?
If I can remember correctly, I think we were in Florida. We were in Florida, me and my lady, and we are just chilling, hanging out, and my self-esteem isn't high at all. Like I talk down to myself a lot. I'm trying to change that, but whatever. But I would drink, and when I drink, I get very confident. And nothing crazy, nothing crazy. I just think I'm fucking dope shit. I'll be like, dude, I could do two backflips right now. Like that's the type of confidence I am when I'm drunk.
And you can't even do one.
No, fuck no, hell no. And I something happened where I was just saying silly shit where I was like, I'm daddy. And I was like, damn, I can't be daddy, bro. Fucking Effie's daddy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I can't do that shit. And I was like, damn, am I gonna be fat daddy? I'm fat. And then my lady goes, yeah, and then my lady's just like, stop talking negative about yourself. Stop doing that. And I was just like, well, what the fuck? I'm fat daddy. She's like, no. I was like, I'm PHAT fat though. She goes, no, 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 no. She's like, you thick daddy. I was like, yeah, I'm thick daddy. Fuck yeah. And then it kind of rolled for a little bit, just like it was just kind of like an in-house thing. And then I said it during a show and then someone giggled, but then I also heard a ooh, so I was like, all right, what can we do with this shit? And I remember I asked one of the homies if he could make me a Thick Daddy shirt, just the way it looks now, just black and white, just
Yep.
Thick Daddy, nothing on it. And I cropped it or crop topped it and I wore it to the ring. Had the ring announcer call me your Thick Daddy. It's not just Thick Daddy, it's
Yeah.
your Thick Daddy. And I was just like, that's silly. That's fun. That's gonna get like a little haha. Then after the show, they're like, hey, how much are those shirts? And I've never been like a merch person.
Yeah.
Even back home, I've never been a merch person. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, are you selling those Thick Daddy shirts? I was like, nah, man, that shit's a joke. And then and then I did it again, and I think I posted a picture with me with the shirt, just something, and then people wanted to buy it. So I was like, fuck, let me try this. And I think I made like five.
Yeah.
I asked the homie if he could make me five. And one show sold out. I was like, oh, I mean, granted, it was just five, but they got sold. So I was just like, damn, like, I guess we're gonna do this shit then. And also I was getting chubbier because I was like slacking on the training. So it was just kind of like a funny, happy accident, just like wrestling, happy accident happened. So the Thick Daddy, and I think people just dug it. I think it was just funny. And yeah, it's a way of life. It's so funny to me that majority of the majority of the people that buy my shirt are like smaller women. So You know
I
what I
love
mean?
it, dude. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's
Hey,
a,
I would wear that shirt into the gym, no problem.
bro, that shit is tight. I
Just have people call
at my
me Thick
local
Daddy.
gym, I'll be rocking that shit. They'll be like, dude, I need that. I'm like, dog, I got it in the trunk. I got it in the trunk. Let's get it. I'll get you a size right now, boy.
That's awesome. No, and it was funny because I was gonna start the show by saying I was gonna say something super stupid. I was gonna say the man that makes your mother quiver their lips
Hey,
while he shakes his hips, the Thick Daddy
man.
himself.
Damn, I might have to take that one. That one's good. That was a
I,
good one, boy.
I was gonna start it, and I was like, man, I don't know how this would play, but it would
Fuck
have
it,
worked.
dog. Fuck it.
It would have worked.
That's what I love about, I guess, me and my aura is just like it don't matter, bro. We could say some shit, and if it sounds corny or weird, we'll play it off. We'll keep it going, man.
And I think it works. I mean, I think that's how you need to be introduced from now on. I think
I'm
it
gonna
works
have
out.
to.
I
I'll do
think
it.
it
I'll
works
do it.
out.
I'll give you props on that one.
Hey, for sure, for sure. Now, I know you mentioned, you had to get back at the gym, you were gaining some pounds, but that's where you had to add those extra C's, it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
Thick Daddy,
That's true. That's true.
So you've been a focal point in a promotion that's been relatively new, Grind Pro. Grind Pro, I think, is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
What they're doing, they're taking pro wrestlers who I feel are not getting the full recognition that they truly deserve, that are busting their asses and putting them onto one show. And I think what Grind Pro does is absolutely incredible. Perry Von Vicious, Rip Bison, Dummy XO, yourself, we just seen Griffin McCoy over there a few months ago. You wrestled him in his, I believe, what was it, debut match or second match or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
debut. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I think he's another guy who's going places.
Oh yeah. He's so young
There's
already.
so many talented guys that come through Grind Pro, and it's a list of wrestlers that I'm all familiar with, always. And it's always cool to watch that. What is it like to be a part of something special like Grind Pro, getting off the ground and becoming as successful as it's been?
Well, I mean, I feel bad because I wasn't on it on the first go run. I think it was like a year, I want to say, and then I joined. But it's cool, man. It's hard to it's hard to explain the vibe there because we all have the same mentality. This it's kind of funny. We just call ourselves the sad locker room, because we're all sad and depressed for no reason. But I think that's why we all get along because we just all want to help each other get better. So like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a competition, but it's like it's us against not everyone because
Yeah.
we're all just trying to help each other. So it's very hard to explain that. But I love it, dude. It's so fucking cool. Like it's so cool when everyone's just like talking about it and then they go, "Hey, how do I get on?
Yeah.
Hey, I want to get on. Hey, I want to be a part. I want to be a part." So to be on that ship essentially, it's so fucking cool, man. I love it there. Rip and Down Me are doing something fantastic. How you said like giving a spotlight to these young, hungry, even older competitors like myself, a fucking spot to show them. It's never like, hey, just don't do this or don't do. It's like, don't hit the barricades because we might hit kids, and just go out there and have fun and keep it
Yeah.
under 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's fantastic, man. I can't say anything ill about it. It's other than the ring, it shit fucking hurts, but but it's a great place. Like you just Griffin McCoy is rising there. Joseph A Game, he's fantastic. And
Yeah.
I feel bad because I like a lot of these people I probably wouldn't have known if it wasn't for grind. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like hell yeah for it. Like another kind of partner of mine. We are kind of getting it going, but then I got hurt. The rabid honey badger,
Ryan
Ryan
Mooney.
Mooney. He
Yep.
is fantastic, man. He
He
has
is.
mindset and this movement like no one else that I've seen, but like he's just for whatever reason not used a lot, and that's all right. It just kind of is what it is. But
Yeah.
at grind, you see him shine, you see who he is and what he can do, and we're all of us are not surprised. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Brian
No,
Ross, you're like,
he was
yeah, bro, that's
absolutely
it.
incredible back when he was in Ring of Honor. I thought he was going to get somewhere special, and
Yeah.
they did nothing with him. So to
Yeah,
see
that's
what
fun.
Grind Pro is doing with him and to see him succeed is actually awesome because he is a great competitor
Yep.
inside that ring, 100%.
Yeah,
What
the same
what
goes
is your
with
guys'
the
tag team
champ,
name?
Mike
It's like the
Skyros.
thick rabbits, or
Oh,
honey
the
honey
Rabbit
daddy.
Daddies.
There you go, the rabbit
Yeah, the
daddies.
Rabbit Daddies.
I love it. I love, I love it.
Yeah, man, it's fun. I love grind, man. Like I think not I think January 13th is their next show. I always hate it. I'm terrible with names of shows.
Yeah,
Uh but we're gonna go out there and we're gonna support and hang out. So I'm very excited to see that card because it's grind champion Mike Skyrose. I was making fun of his name earlier, so I almost said what I was making fun of. Mike Skyrose versus Honey Badger, which is gonna be phenomenal. But the match I'm like hella excited for is Rip Bison versus Tyler Bateman. So I'm
yeah.
like, fuck yeah, dude! I get to see Bateman again. I haven't seen him since I left California, and like I'm excited for that. It's gonna be fun.
And
It's gonna be
he's
my
just
first time
coming.
back from a show.
He's
Say it again.
just really coming back too, Bateman, because I know he was off social media completely for a while. Like
He was
he
off
just
of Twitter because I guess he got banned or some shit.
oh, okay. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was gone for a while, and I was just like, "Yo, where's Bateman been?" Because I can't see anything of his anymore. Like,
yeah, no, he's been cooking, man. He's been doing his thing. Like he's another one of those. Like, man, I just want to spread his love. I know that sounds weird. I just want to spread his name to get the love that he deserves because he's been doing this shit for like 20 years and he's just
yes,
so incredible. He's a nice guy too. Like that's what I love about him. I love that motherfucker.
and he
I know
looks so evil too. Like,
he's fucking
just
scary, man. Imagine that. Imagine that looking at you and going, "Hey, let's just say our sorries now." What? No, man.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
hurt
Like,
us here.
I would just picture somebody like Bateman and him look at you and be like, "I'll fucking kill you."
Yeah, yeah, dude. It was great when we used to team together. We used to be called the Sexy Time Murderers. It was fantastic because I can talk all this shit and people would be like, "Yeah, you lucky he's behind you," and he's
Yeah,
just right there dark with his cool ass mustache. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right, bitch. Back
he does
up."
have a badass mustache, man. I love it. It's
He's
so
cool,
cool.
man. He's cool.
If I could grow a mustache, it'd be either like Tyler Bates or Tyler Bateman. One of the two.
Uh,
Because
I want the thick one, like you know my dude Manders, one called Manders.
yes, yes, I
I
do.
want shit like that, dog. That shit tight. I can't
Yeah,
grow that.
I can't eat. Mine just grows in my mouth, like it curls.
Ah,
And I hate it. So
I
I got
feel
to
that.
start trimming this shit down because my beard just does not grow like I want it to.
I was supposed to trim today, but I got caught up on some bullshit. I was like, damn, my shit was
Hey, there's still time. The day's not over.
yeah, true, true.
Uh, so Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg Wrestling is something that I'm more familiar with now, and it's because of you. You were recently Blitzkrieg Bedlam Champion, which is
Yep.
their main championship. And then your injury happened where you had to vacate the title. What goes into your mindset when that happens, when you have to vacate a title, like and knowing what kind of a rise you're on again to being that main eventer in those cards and to have to vacate your championship?
That shit was heartbreaking, man. Yeah, no other words but heartbreaking. Blitz was the first place that like gave me a shot when I got out here. I don't know I'm terrible with dates, but like I got here or I got to Philadelphia Thursday, right? And then um I get a message like at fucking 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning on Twitter, Blitz going, "Hey, do you want to come do a show in Springfield?" And I was like, Springfield? I don't know where Homer Simpson's address is. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to get to Springfield? You know what I mean? Because I didn't know how far shit was. I didn't know anything like that. And that was my first booking out here that kind of got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Jeremy was like the promoter. He was just like, "Damn, I like you. Like you're good, dude. Like you're a big guy and you can move and yada yada." So, I was just like, "Yeah, like, can you give me dates? Can we talk about some stuff?" So he gave me like I think it was like 2 or 3 dates, and every time it was like, "What do you want me to do? You're paying me. What do you want me to do? Just be you. Just be the thick daddy. Do your thing." And I was wrestling this guy named Ichiban. He's
Yes.
another fantastic talent. Maybe we'll get into the talent pool out here, but he was another talent. And I remember just being nervous and we went out there and we did our thing, man. We killed it, and like I came back for another one. And then, damn, I feel bad. I'm trying to remember the like who I was wrestling, but like every person I was wrestling, it was just so much fun, so much freedom to just do and be what I want to do. And Blitz gave me that opportunity, and they gave me the love, and man, the fact that I got hurt and I had to drop the title, it's like it's not even like I know it sounds funny to say it like that. It's not even about the title because when they gave me the title and they put it on my shoulders, it was crazy to think like y'all trust me. Like I like it's only been like maybe a year or some change, and y'all trust me like this is fucking awesome. Like we're gonna ride this. Like let's go.
Yep.
It was mostly just like I felt like I let everyone down. You know what I'm talking about? Like I let
Right.
that locker room down. We were obviously because of wrestling, we talk in advance. Like we were talking about the potentials and who I could be wrestling and whatever, and the fact that like now none of that's gonna happen. It sucks, man. And the like the title means a lot to me, but like the fact that Blitz brought me in with so much love, like in the locker room, not just the not just the promoter, the locker room, the fans, everyone there, and to now to like, fuck, sorry guys, not that I couldn't do it, but I like obviously I couldn't do it, but it just sucks, man. It was just so heartbreaking. But in that absence of me having to drop the title, me not being there, now we have a new excitement, right? In the new champion, TJ Crawford, which,
Yes.
you know, I don't
Another
like the
guy.
way he did it. I don't like the way he did it, but he's a fantastic talent. And it's
Yes.
like, it's going to be exciting going to see what he's going to be able to do with the title and what, because, you know, you never want to see anyone get hurt or leave or quit or whatever. But like now the landscape is shifting, so what the
Yes.
fuck are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? Now it's exciting. It sucks that damn Andy got hurt. Now he's gone. There goes the quote unquote thick mountain. Well, what is TJ gonna do with the mountain?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? Who's gonna step up? And now there's a spot available. Who's gonna take it? But it sucks, man. It should. I think it's already been a few months, and it still feels like it happened yesterday.
Oh no, definitely. And very heartbreaking to hear because you hate to see injuries in pro wrestling because
Yeah.
once you're in that rise and that momentum just builds, it feels like when you get injured, you either have to bust your ass to get back to that spot or you're never going to get to that spot again. And it sucks because you don't know where you're going to be. And, when you come to the terms of Andy Brown, we all know what you're capable of. So when you get back there, we know damn well you're going to get back to that spot. It might take you like a month or two, but you're going to get there because
I
when
appreciate
you
that.
when you think of the main event level of independent wrestling and what independent wrestling is, Andy Brown definitely comes to mind. There's no question. At least in my opinion, I know there's a bunch of your fans that feel the exact same way. When we speak of matches and stuff, the word dream match always comes to mind.
Mm.
And I'm sitting here last night and I'm thinking, man, if I could picture a dream match for Andy Brown, what would it be? And I think a good dream match for you would be against Brian Keith. I
Uh,
think
yeah.
that would be a fantastic match. I would love to see. If you could choose a dream opponent, who would it be and why?
Damn. Dream opponent. I always the joke. How do you say this? I would love to wrestle Alyssa Moreno because I saw clips of her when she was training and it was funny. So I just want to like wrestle her. Obviously that's like a joke, but at the same time, kind of reality. I don't necessarily have a dream opponent. That's hard. It's hard because I don't necessarily have like a dream opponent. I just kind of want to. I just kind of want to. Nah, huh? Maybe I'm being a little bitch about it. I want to wrestle. I want to wrestle like obviously Speedball Mike, but no order. Just
Particular order, yeah.
yeah, Speedball Mike Bailey, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega. But see, this is why I don't want to give out a list because it's like, yeah, dude, those are fucking obvious. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get
So
it.
that's why I don't like these. Like, I like the list. Like, fuck yeah, do your thing. It's not that. It's just kind of like I just don't know who. Like,
There's
so
just too many.
before I got hurt, I was supposed to wrestle Akira, right?
Okay.
I never thought that that would even fucking happen. Like no
Yep.
one would ever put that two together in my head. So when I saw it, I saw the graphic, I was like, damn, this shit looks tight. Hell yeah. So you know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
like I know Keith and he's cool as fuck. And it's just like we kind of like talked about it if it could happen. And it's just like for me to go, oh, I would love to wrestle Brian Keith. It's like, yeah, but like because he's is it because he's popular now? It's like, no, I've always wanted to. You get what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say?
Because I
So
like Brian Keith since he was in reality wrestling. I thought he was
oh,
incredible.
okay. Yeah,
When
yeah,
he
yeah.
was in ROW, I thought this dude was going to go places. And now he's so popular with the wrestling community
Mhm,
that it's
mhm.
like, man, I was a fan of his first. I'm going to be totally honest. And now I feel like I'm bandwagoning because I don't watch AEW as much as I probably should as a wrestling fan. You know,
Right.
I just don't like all the jabs at WWE constantly. That's
Yeah,
the only thing I'm not a fan of on a regular basis. Um, but there's so many talented guys there, and Brian Keith is definitely somebody who needs to get signed by that company.
yeah, he's fantastic. I like him. Anytime I say I like someone, it's always because like wrestling and because they're a good person
Yep.
outside. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
One called Manders is another one. That's the
Yep.
one I really for sure like if I could wrestle tomorrow, that's who I would like pick. But like the dream opponents, it's hard because it's like obviously you're gonna say so and so, whoever's hot, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I honestly truly would love to just wrestle anyone.
Yep.
Like there's no like, oh man, there isn't none of that shit. Like if I wrestled you, I want to wrestle Adrian again,
Yep.
Bateman again. You know what I mean? Like I just want to wrestle everyone because I feel like every like wrestling is crazy and the art of it and the things you guys can or people could come up with on the spot or like whatever, you know, however predetermined shit goes. But like so to be able to like get with another mind about something that we both love to do and to go out there and do it for the crowd to be like, holy shit, this is
Yep.
amazing, or this is cool, or man, fuck that guy, or yeah, I like that dude, or whatever, like shit like that. That's what that is. So to me, it's like, it's not necessarily anything of like, I want to wrestle here or against this person or have this title. I just kind of like, shit, dog. I just want to go out there and have fun. I just want to
I
do my
get
thing.
it.
I'm also older too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I'm not gonna get signed. I'm not gonna travel like the world. Like, fuck it, bro. Just bring me some people. Let's have some fun, man. Let's wrestle and drink. Or if you guys if they smoke, like, let's just kick it. Let's just have a good time
Yeah.
after. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no, definitely, and I get that 100% because when you think of dream matches and you talk about matches like that, you get a lot of those guys that are like, I want to wrestle who's the hottest right now. Not somebody like, if I'm interviewing somebody right now, you're not going to hear somebody say, "Yeah, my dream match is against Andy Brown." My
yeah,
dream match is going to be against Will Ospreay, like you said, because
yeah,
he's one of those guys that is just like everybody's talking about Will Ospreay in the wrestling world. When I think of dream matches, my mind automatically goes to Andy Brown because I've been a fan of yours for so long because I know what your talent is and what your worth is. So watching you and doing what you're doing is absolutely incredible. So
thanks,
I
man.
like to put Andy, and it's funny because when I say I like to put Andy Brown in dream matches, I actually make Andy Brown on wrestling video games as well. So
Let's
I
go.
put you in matches all the time. You're one of the guys I make. You, Anthony Henry, who else? Aria Blake, TJ Perkins's wife. Who else do I make? There's a couple other that I make. Caleb
Henry's dope.
Conley.
Henry's dope as fuck too.
Yep.
Yeah, he
Caleb
kicked
Conley
the
is
fuck out
another
of me.
one.
Caleb's dope. See, I think that's my thing is I don't want these dream matches. I just want to tell people who to go watch.
Yep.
Like, yeah, if you give me like give me a list of people to go watch, I'd be like so and so, so and so, so and so. Don't
And
put them
it's
in there
so
with me. I
sad
suck.
too, because it's so sad because guys like Caleb Conley and Andy Brown and Arya, like everybody's been busting their asses. And like me as a wrestling fan and actually watching the indies and the way I base wrestling on is look, in-ring work, and mic skills. So like if you can have all three, and I know you have that look that kind of gravitates me towards you, I'm gonna be a fan. No matter
Yeah,
how I find you, if I find Brandon Watts, he's a part of the tag team Milk Chocolate. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I've seen them. They wrestled at Beyond a little bit.
yes.
Yeah.
So I found a picture of him just randomly on Google. Don't know why, but I liked the look that he had, like the attire and everything. I was like, let me check this dude out. And I followed Milk Chocolate. And it's because I was interested in like how his attire was and everything he had. Like, I was like, I'm gonna watch this dude, and I became an instant fan. Milk Chocolate was my third favorite or third show that I've ever done on here.
Ah,
So
nice. Oh yeah.
it was really cool to do. But like that's what gravitates me towards it. You get a lot of people that are like, a guy like Caleb Conley, who's like I said, busting his ass. I've been a fan of his for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And you got somebody like him that I can ask one of my friends who watches like the main wrestling promotions like WWE, New Japan, AEW, like, hey, do you know who Caleb Conley is? And they're like, no, who the fuck's that? Are you really a true wrestling fan at that point? Like, if you don't know who these guys are that are busting their asses too,
Well, I mean, I think that's hard because there's so much wrestling, as you said. There's so
Yes.
much wrestling. There's so many wrestlers. There's so little time. There's so little promotion. Not little, like big, I guess main stage promotions, but like that's also like the fun of wrestling. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like finding those people and going, "What? How long you been wrestling? 15 years? That's crazy. How come I never heard of you?" "Oh, I don't know because of this." But luckily with today's age is like we have all that back catalog of the shit that we've done. Like you
Yeah.
could go on YouTube and put Andy Brown wrestling and you can find a lot of stuff that I did everywhere. You go on IWTV and Fight and all this other platforms like where you can find these people and it just, takes someone like you or another fan or another wrestler or another anyone just to go, have you seen so and so?
Yeah.
Have you seen such and such? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And I get it, man. Like that's why a lot of the times I'm always like on X or whatever, Twitter, I'm always like retweeting someone's thing or saying this is gonna be great because I'm a true fan of still wrestling. So like I'll see, I'm trying to think of like a match that's coming up that I'm like, yeah, but like if I'm not gonna be on the show,
Yeah.
I'm not wrestling, I'm not even showing up, but I'm gonna show out like,
For the
oh,
homies.
yeah, like Above the Rest versus Fresh Air.
Yeah.
Uh, Miracle Generation, Ichiban, Alec Price, BRG, like shit like that, Rip Bison and all them.
Yep.
Like I'm gonna shout them out because it's like
They deserve it.
not that yeah. Like not that I don't need it. Like I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Like, you know what I mean? Just like give me a beer, give me a high five, and we chilling. But like these motherfuckers are like the next ones up. You know what I mean? Marcus Mathers is another one.
Yep.
Like these guys are incredible. The same thing with back at home, You have Lucas Riley and Dom Kubrick, they're doing like the Krusty Crew or whatever the fuck they're doing, but it's like fucking they build themselves. I remember when they just looked like little ass kids and now they're just jacked. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over this? Sliced Boogie's another one. Like, there's just a lot of people wrestling everywhere, and it's okay that not everyone knows these people.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before they get to know them. But by the time they get to know them and they see them on the screen, maybe you've never seen, hey, why is so and so getting whoever? Doesn't matter. Why is so and so getting a opportunity at AEW? It doesn't make sense to me. Well, blah 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 or whatever. And then you see them work, and they're like, well,
Okay.
that was okay, but why did they deserve it? And then you look at their fucking catalog of what they've done and where
Yeah.
they've been and who they wrestled and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, my bad. You know what I mean? But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that shit, and I think that's it.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely. Definitely. And then when we speak of matches and stuff, and we speak of wrestlers who so and so might not know of, these guys that are making their way and trying to bust their asses to get people to say like I know who that is. I was listening to your podcast on Under the Ropes, that you did a while back. And she asked you this question: if a fan was to ask you, hey, Andy Brown, I've never heard of you before, never seen your matches, um, if you can give me a match of yours to watch, what would you recommend as a match? And you chose your match against Anthony Green, which was fantastic, by the way. Now, with that being said, that was a while back, and you've had matches after that. If you had been asked that question today, would your answer still be the same, or would your answer be changed?
I would tell him, don't watch me, watch something else, bro. Fuck all that. No, fuck. No, I mean, hmm. Yeah, I mean, it would be that one. I would tell him to go watch my match with Anthony Henry at Limitless. Um,
Absolute badass, by the way.
yeah, he's dope. He's great. I'm trying to think. It's so hard because it's it's so hard because I'm my worst critic. So like I'm all like, I don't like the way I looked, or I don't remember, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but I mean, like honestly, man, all my stuff at Blitzkrieg, all my stuff at Grind, like you see the development of like what I think Thick Daddy is and turning
Yes.
into. So like Anthony Green was the match that was like, okay, this guy, he's the real deal. He's what everyone is saying that he is. And then you see the matches after that, and like you see the development of it. So like the match I had with Anthony Henry was like, holy shit, like this is a striker, a killer, and I'm over here
Yep.
like goofy, haha. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I've always said it, I'm dancing and doing this, but if you hit me, we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
And I did that with Anthony Henry, and we fought. And the same thing with like a lot of my matches at like Wrestling Open, wrestling guys like the Big Boofa, like he's fantastic. So like just like my whole catalog now, man, is just I don't know, just pick something. You know what I mean?
that's
Like
that's a good answer. I like
yeah,
that.
just I'm not saying that they're great matches. I'm not saying that at all. I personally think that my matches are I've said this before, they're experiences. Experiences that you have to be there. What I mean by that is like you'll see me on video and you'll see me like turn and you don't see shit and I'll turn back and then do whatever. But like you hear the crowd like laughing.
Yeah.
It's just like I was just talking shit or I was saying something. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I remember, I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this. It don't really matter. Someone said something. Someone was saying something, and I was just like, "Yeah, well, fucking suck my asshole." And then they're all like, "What?" And then yeah, and then they're all like chanting, "You're an asshole, you're an asshole," and I was just like, "I am what I eat, dog." And then that was it. And then like everyone fucking laughed, but you couldn't hear it on tape or whatever when you watch it back. You can't hear it, but you can hear the crowd laughing. So it's just yeah, man. It's wrestling's fun, bro. Wrestling is
That's
fucking
absolutely awesome.
fun.
So
Yeah, bro. Sometimes you gotta catch them off guard. They'll be like, "What the fuck did he say?"
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I get that 100% because you always hear those wrestlers say something like there's a wrestler who is was Dustin Rhodes hand right hand man at the Rhodes Wrestling Academy when he was doing his training and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a guy named Chad Lennox. We became pretty close friends, within the last year and a half here. But he has this catchphrase that he just yells out during the middle of the match, "I hate it here." And it just catches on, and I love it so much that
It's
I
dope.
give him shit about it all the time. And I'm like, you always hear that wrestler just say something, and it's like, dude, I like him because of that. you
Yeah,
know?
bro. It's all about having a good time, man. This shit hurts. This shit
Oh,
hurts. So like when you can make people laugh and have a good time, it's fun.
that's
That's
what
what I'm
wrestling
trying
is.
to
It's,
do.
it's entertaining,
I
you
agree.
know.
I agree.
So we're getting down to the end here. Two final questions for you. Um, if you can choose any three wrestlers in the world, dead or alive, advice about wrestling, who would it be and what would you ask?
Ask advice about?
Yep.
Damn, that's a good one. To get advice? That's crazy. Um, damn, my fault, my fault.
That's a
I don't
tough
think I've
question.
ever,
I get that a
I don't,
lot.
yeah, I don't think I've ever been asked that. That's cool. It's probably controversial, and if I offend anyone, I apologize. But probably Vince McMahon, just because he's like, you know what I mean? Like he created this crazy shit and like made it to what it is, and sure there is people, but like fuck, like
Yeah.
what he's done. Um, so I apologize if that offended anyone. I'm just being honest with y'all.
We can't take away what Vince has done. I mean,
Yeah, I
Vince
mean,
Vince personally might have done bad shit, but the wrestling world, like
yeah,
he just
yeah, but you know how people get.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm pretty sure I'm getting in trouble for that shit, but whatever. I don't give a fuck.
I agree, so me too.
Shawn Michaels is someone. Uh, damn, that's a good one. That's a good one. It just sucks because like I just feel like the knowledge I was getting along the way to where I'm at now, like I feel like fuck yeah, I got it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
No, I
Like
get it.
Dave Marquez is someone that like he's done TV, wrestling TV for a very long time. So I got like knowledge from him. I got like knowledge from my trainer that's been with WWE as an enhancement talent and also as a referee. So I got like why the referee is important. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
I also got like uh, his name is Black Metal. He promoter for EWF, and I got information on how to do promoting. Like, and I never want to fucking do that. That shit's a fucking. And then just along the way of people that have been there and done that, and done this and learned it from this person. So after a while, it becomes like waterfall. You just get it all. So like it's very hard to be like, oh man, but I wish I got this information or information from that person. It's kind of like, at the end of the day, everyone tells you kind of the same thing. It's
Yeah.
wrestling is a canvas, and you paint it, you do what you want with it, you decorate it how you want to, as long as you're just in the lines of not offending, not hurting, or any of that stuff. And at the end of the day, like I got blessed with a lot of paintbrushes from people that have made masterpieces, and I love it. I'm forever grateful for sure, man. Like you like having this conversation really got me like to sit and think about everything that's like within wrestling, everything that's happened, and it's like, damn, bro, I had a cool ride, I had a fun ride, man. I don't want it
Oh,
to end. I know it sounds like I'm like, oh man, like fuck it, I'm done.
it's over. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just no, fuck that. I want to come back and continue having so much fun with everyone.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And we can't wait to see you come back. And the final question that I have here for you, if you were to give advice yourself to any wrestler that is up and coming, any person that wants to get into the wrestling business, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't do this shit, bro. Do something else. Don't do this. No, fuck this. Um, what advice would I give to fuck? Well, today's industry is different. So the only thing is just have tough skin. Understand that there are some people that are trying to take advantage or whatever, but not everyone is. Not everyone that gives you advice about excuse me, about how to get bookings or how to do it the right way or how wrestling is supposed to be this, like just take everything in, defend yourself when you need to defend yourself. Don't be silly and fucking be like, well, fuck you, you don't know anything when it's not your turn to talk, if that makes any sense. Just kind of, just pay attention, listen, and wrestle everywhere. Do it all. Like if you're young, if you're like young and you don't have big responsibilities, travel, wrestle as much as you can, get in a car, talk, ask the questions. You hear it all the time, and I can tell you from experience, like all the old heads like me and people that are older than me want to give that advice because we want to feel like we still not necessarily matter, but like people still care. And at the end of the day, love it, love yourself, and just be happy, man, because this shit ain't easy. No one said it's easy. I know you hear it all the time. Wrestling doesn't owe you anything. That's just stupid as fuck. Just fucking just have a good time. Just enjoy the ride. If you get signed, hell yeah. If you don't, hell yeah, have fun, bro. Don't not like just have fun. Just have a good time.
I love it. That's some great advice, especially when you see all the up and comers coming up. It's very sound advice. Just enjoy yourself. We're all in this because we love pro wrestling. Whether we're doing podcasts, whether we're in the ring, whether we're doing refereeing, promoting, anything, we're all in this because of pro wrestling. And
Agreed.
and I was so grateful to start this year off with Andy Brown. It was such a fun conversation, man.
I hope I
Do
wasn't
you
too boring, bro.
No, man, you were the worst guest I've ever had.
I'm about to
Hands
get
down.
canceled for that Vince McMahon comment.
Me, dude, I'm hoping I get canceled. I'm waiting for that day. Fingers
No,
crossed.
don't say that, bro.
Andy, do you want to tell the fans where they could find you at on social media?
Hell no, bro. No, you can all socials, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever it's called, is up Andy Brown. I don't really do anything else. My stories on Instagram are weird. They just tell you to ask me questions, and I'm in a hoodie. So ask me questions in the hoodie. That's about it, man. I'm pretty chill. Yeah, that's it.
Well, Andy, I want to say, man, it's been such a fun time. You guys definitely need to go follow Andy Brown. Such an honor to have him on here today. Andy, I hope you enjoy your Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Get that last meal in. Andy, it was fun. It was a great time having you on here, man. Such an honor. I can't wait till you're back in the ring and absolutely killing it. Go get that Blitzkrieg Bedlam title back. That's all we need.
Baby back. Thanks, man. I
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Guys, it was a fun show. Way to kick off 2024. Till next time, guys, I was your host, Matt Kozakowski. This is Uptown Andy Brown, your thick daddy.
appreciate it.
Till next time, guys, take care. Peace out.
Bye. See ya.